We will be discussing on this Patanjali Yoga Sutra. As all of you know, who is Patanjali? Today I am not going to give description on Patanjali, how he fell down on Anjali. That's why his name is called Patanjali. Anjali means palm. And what it happened, so a lot of history is there. So we'll be talking this point some other time as this is a history. But I would like to highlight this once. India is known, in fact I would rather say Hindustan rather India. Because India is created in after 1947. So Hindustan is known in all over the world because of its knowledge and culture. The knowledge that is perennially flowing from Ishvara to Rishis and through this Karna Parampara. So Karna Parampara, that's why called Shruti, Shrutatvat, because it is heard. That's why we did not record the date. Joke goes, I remember in 90s there was a joke in Tamil Nadu especially. First time when Tamil Nadu people came to know that in America somebody has taken a patent on turmeric. At that time the patent concept was coming very new. Then the joke in Tamil Nadu was going on. So that means in kitchen also you cannot use the word turmeric, nor you can use turmeric. If you use the word or you have to pay the royalty to the American fellow. What I am highlighting here is, we did not believe to prove anything by showing the paper. We believed in living with the knowledge. In fact, we never did the business. We never make it available for common people or public. That's why the knowledge was being given only those who deserved. Unless the person deserves, this knowledge was not given. That's why those days we used to say, this Upanishadic teaching only is available in Himalayas. Other than Himalayas, it was not available for your kind information. It was just Puranas, epics, kathas, some dharmas, this, that, and few places, especially some mutts like Shankara mutts. They used to have this teaching exclusively for the next generation. Because the concept was very clear that unless the person is being prepared or ready for it, don't hand over. Because while handing over, there is a more possibility or better possibility that it will be misinterpreted, misunderstood. However, things have changed. Nowadays, especially after pandemic, anything and everything is available on YouTube or internet. We never thought that we'll be talking on this, different platform, all over the world we are talking. So we thought, listening to one to one. That's why, thank God we have put the video, not, like I remember one small thing I can tell you. I remember there was one police training going on. So one police fellow came to meet me. I cannot forget that incident. So he said, Swamiji, I'm sorry, but I have to be in the training session. I said, then go. No, Swamiji, don't worry. Just I need 2 minutes to log into the program. And he logged in. So he put his everything mute, okay? And talking to me. I said, what is going on? Swamiji, I need to put the attendance that I am in the training. And he told me, it's not me alone. He showed more than 200 officers are there. He said, I'll tell you, Swamiji, out of 200, I'm sure definitely 190 will be liking this thing. Only 10 those who are involved or something happens, they will be listening to it, not others. That's why we make it very clear. Make the video. I try to see all of you and try to talk. And especially this text will demand much more. Why? First of all, as I opened my topic, Hindustan never believed in proving nor keeping on record. That's why we do not know exactly when this Yoga Sutra was written. Thank God, there is some evidence. People say that at least Patanjali belongs to this Hindustan. Okay, I'm not talking in India. Okay, thank God. Time will come. No. Actually, Patanjali was not. This Yoga Sutra belongs to us. Somebody can take patent. Possible. Okay, don't worry. However, please understand this point. Second thing also talks about the preparedness. That's why I gave this story. In fact, when you look at this 4 padas of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, so the first pada completes everything. Second pada was not required. Pada means chapter here. Because when especially in first pada, the 4 sutras, Atha, Yoganuशासनम, Yoga, Chittavritti, Nirodha, then comes, third one comes, Tada, Drashtu, Swarupe, Avasthanam, then Vritti, Sarupyam, Iti, Atra. So when these 4 sutras are being talked in short, so we are going to talk Yoga, Atha Yoganuशासनम, just in short. So what is Yoga? If you look at translation as it is, Yoga, Chittavritti, Nirodha. So the cessation of the mind is called Yoga. But that's not truth. We'll be seeing in details, don't worry. And when it happens, Tada, Drashtu, Swarupe, Avasthanam, when the Drashtu abides, the seer abides within one's own self. But there are some time mind is not able to abide. So that means what? That mind is one with the Vritti, whatever thought comes. Yoga is completed. With this 4 sutra, in reality, yoga is completed. We don't need. But remember, this is only for Uttama Adhikari. Knowing that, he went to one more chapter. So where he tried to talk about different type of things like Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, actually Avidya, first it starts Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Avinivesa. We'll be seeing all these words, okay? Don't worry. We'll be breaking head, okay? Then what is Heyam, what is Dukkham? You understand? So all these things being talked in the next chapter for Madhyama Adhikari. So that means it is very clear. Shastra also knows. The teacher, the teaching tradition also know very well that student need not be prepared. So when a student is not prepared, it is the job of the teacher to prepare, provided if the student is ready to get molded. I have seen one beautiful concept. Luckily, we had that sort of exposure. When we used to go to school, we used to pass by potter's house. And those potters, and especially elderly man, so what they will doing hitting, making the shape of the pot proper shape, let us say, giving a proper shape to that pot. And as you start watching, sometimes we'll ask, can you give us? We want to hit. We'll say, no. And once we become, very nice, then okay, take. And sometimes we make mess, sometimes, but nicely, it was nice. Sometimes I have seen and asked also, it is almost getting ready, the shape. But while heating, because it has to become thinner, thinner and finer. Okay, please understand, thinner and finer. Not nowadays everything is in machine. You understand? Over. Those days it was not like that. Okay, even though they use the wheel to get the shape, then after that they will put it and heat in and make it very nice. It's something really amazing. So while making it thinner, this is the point I would like to say, and finer, let us say the wheel will give, just I am giving you ordinary calculation, it need not be right, okay, perfect. Let us say the wheel gives 5 mm thickness of the pot, but it has to be made 3 mm. Now this 2 mm and this accordingly the size will increase, to be done by heating. So as they start heating, sometimes what happens, when 5 mm there will be some, let us say, dust particles or something which will be covered perfectly, nothing will happen. Whereas when it is being made as 3 mm, now that dust particle is visible. Can you see this point? So when that dust particle or unwanted particle is visible, now what potter's job is, I have noticed, please don't misunderstand, it's an amazing thing to observe. Do you know what do? They have 2 options. First, what they do is, they try to dismantle everything. Hours of job. Other thing they do it, this is something to be understood very carefully, it's very sentimental points. What they do is, they remove that and put another little bit, this mud, and try to put a patchwork. And when they do the patchwork, they keep those vessels aside. They will have their own marking. I asked, why you are keeping aside? Because now nothing will happen. There is no water, it is not going to leak. He said, look, technically water will not leak, but definitely when we keep the water for a long time, it has to leak. And imagine those days everything was done with the earthen pot. Then what to do with this? He said, we have some buyers for this. Now, who are the buyers? Do you know what they do is? Because we have this asaucha karma. So asaucha karma means when a person passes away mainly. So every day we have to buy new vessels. So in that new earthen pot it has to be cooked, and after cooking we have to keep all the food and everything outside. So what do they do is, they keep it aside to give for this asaucha karma. Imagine how careful they do it. Now remember, potter happens to be a teacher. So when a potter is a teacher, now the job of the potter is to make the fine one. Now clay is your mind. The student, in short. Student means not your body, okay? Your mind. So when the clay is your mind, now the teacher has to mold it, prepare it. So while preparing, making it thinner and finer, suppose there is some unresolved thought, either that comes from this life or from previous lives, which you are not able to attend to, which you are not able to really resolve it. Whether you like it or not, once in a while it will pop up. So when it pops up, if the teacher starts, teacher has 2 options. Now what a teacher has to do? So either completely dismantle or take some extra things, do not put like ointment, soothing words, take care of the ego or heart. So in the process, what you do is, you keep that student making available for something. Can you see this point very carefully, because very sentimental point, but I am sorry, because text demands, okay? So that's why the role of a student is much more serious than the role of a teacher. Because in teaching, if I am a good student, remember, definitely I am going to become a good teacher. That's why if you see any mutt, when they pick up the successor, they study horoscope very well. They look at whether this fellow's grahas, especially whether he's going to be sannyasi or not, is second hand. I'm sorry to say. Whether he is going to manage the mutt, the parampara or not. You understand? Dharma adhikari, na? Because if the person is not successful and becomes a Swami, will be a failure. Can you see this point? And unfortunately, in the field of yoga especially, all people, those who are failure, they end up in yoga. Look at all over the world. Yoga means, I'm sorry to say, abode of failures. That's why gypsies, please don't misunderstand me. I'm starting from overseas, we'll come to India, don't worry. I'll not spare anybody today, okay? When these Indians started this 1 month yoga course, we are also belong to that category, okay? Don't worry, okay? I am not better fellow, okay? I am also part of this confusion. This 1 month teacher's training course. How can you make a person a teacher in 1 month? Is it possible? It's just a brainwash. Just to mint money. And whose money is being minted? I'm not telling you jokes. In our case, it's a little different, to be very honest. 99% people join this 1 month teacher's course, failures. Nothing to do. I'm sorry, not disrespecting anybody, okay? Most of them are dropout from the universities, not university schools. At least university dropout I can respect, okay? School dropouts. Doing this plumbing job, doing this job, that job, not able to do anything. Now let me learn yoga, go to India, learn yoga and get a certificate. Then what I'll do? I can start a yoga center to earn money. And of course, they will start talking Yoga Sutra much better than me. Please understand. This is overseas. India, let us not talk. It's worse than that, okay? Here, everybody is yogi by birth. If not they are yogi, they claim that they are yogis, okay? And of course, if you manage to learn little bit Sanskrit, that's all. And if you cannot learn Sanskrit like Tamil people, they don't want to learn Sanskrit, but they cannot, as another point. Nowadays, I'm openly saying it. So they have to pick up some old Tamil literature, okay? To prove that, we are exclusive, we are better than Sanskrit fellows, okay? That's all. So in short, what I'm highlighting here is, nobody is looking at preparedness of one's own self. Now, through this text, we will try to prepare ourselves and we'll look at our mind. This will be our approach. Because for me, it is a commitment. So that in the process, I would like to see my mind in a much better way. And for you people, need to look at your mind to mold yourself and be available to get molded. But don't worry, if I come across any unwanted things, I will try. In fact, I will tell you one more point there. When they see something unwanted, I have seen also this point, they will take the support of another thing behind. Then try to make it to melt that. In spite of doing hitting, it does not go. Then only they take the last option. You understand? So also I'll try my best to do the molding job. And I only request you all to be available. With this background, we'll straight get into the first sutra. So as you know, this first chapter is called Samadhi Pada. So Pada means here the chapter. So this Samadhi Pada talks. Let us look at the first sutra. It's a very big thing to understand. Atha Yoganu Shasanam. So when he says Atha, so we have this word Atha, different type of meanings. General translation of Atha will be now. So that's why you can see most of the translation will be there. What? Now this Yoga Sutra or the teaching of Yoga Sutra or traditional teaching of Yoga Sutra starts. This is what the common translation, which is right, nothing wrong in it. But the word Atha we need to look at in details. Why? Because we say in Sutra literature, means in aphorism, when a person writes a Sutrakaraha, the person who writes aphorism is able to save one alphabet. Means not necessary to write the way you want, like not poetic language, okay? To fill the gap. Rhythm. Because in poem, rhythm is more important than the content. I'm sorry, I am not a poet, okay? So I can criticize. If I am a poet, I will never do that, okay? However, but they will say, no, to write poem is something very higher thinking, higher thing. But anybody can write essay, but not poem, okay? Anyway, good, with due respect to them. But what I am highlighting here is, in poem, those days, nowadays poem don't ask me, okay? Where it ends, where it starts, you will not understand, okay? Suddenly you will discover, oh, poem is completed. This is a new, called modern poem, is like modern art. However, so in poem, there is a rhythm. And in order to have rhythm, you need to add something here and there. Can you see this point? Or else that poem will not be that much juicy. Rasikas, we use the word rasikas, will not. That's a Kavita, Vanita, Lata. Please understand, that's why I'm taking this point. Kavita, Vanita, Bina Asri Navartanti, Kavita, Lata, Vanita. So without the support, a kavita means a poem, cannot grow, cannot sustain. It needs rasikas to cherish, to enjoy. So that's why what is being highlighted here is, when a person writes aphorism called Sutra, literally celebrates as though he is having a child. That new child has come to the family. When the person is able to save one alphabet from one sutra. That means how careful the person is. That means the person cannot afford to add anything extra. At the same time, there should not be any confusion, any ambiguity. In fact, to write Sutra is not a joke. Like, for example, this telegraphic message. We had long back telegram, now new telegram is different, okay? Not our telegram, okay? So, what is this telegraphic message? And sometimes it becomes very funny, okay? One message you send, it reaches another. Because those days in the past, there was no voice tuck, tuck, tuck sound, okay? They understand from the tuck, tuck sound and they do it. Like, steno. Things have gone now, changed completely. Stenotypist. Steno means, nobody can read. In fact, they themselves cannot read. But for that, they are being paid, okay? Don't worry. However, how this telegraphic message was very short, but was able to communicate. So also this aphorism literature. So being that the word Atha cannot be just taken as the word Atha, called now. We know already Yoga Shastra started. So what is the necessity of using the word now Yoga Sutra started? What? You understand? Don't you think that it is, unnecessary, ridiculous? It is like, now I am starting the class. Swamiji, we have started, already you are opened, okay? We are sitting in the class. Now I am starting class. Earlier what, you were gossiping or what? See, the moment we open the class means all we have to join, class started. So here, how can he say that now Yoga Sutra or the teaching of the Yoga starts? No, it's not that now. We have to look at this word Atha from different angle. First of all, we need to look at Atha is called Mangala Suchaka Vakya. So Mangala Suchaka means it indicates auspiciousness. So Onkara, Atha Sabda, both. As the Onkara is auspicious, so also the Atha Sabda. So it stands for auspiciousness. Because when a text is going to be started, definitely the author has to remember God, remember the teaching tradition, remember everything to take care of himself and this text. Without that, it's not going to be completed. That's why we say whole life is a prayerful. So being whole life is full of prayers, how can the author will start this yoga aphorism called Yoga Sutra without a prayer? That's why many yoga people do not do any prayer, you understand? Hey, we are secular. We don't belong to any religion. This is a new trend, okay? Actually, yoga is beyond religion. Please. It's not going to work. Only those who talk when they look at Atha means now only. Can you see the point where we are going wrong? So Atha being a prayer, being auspicious, as the Onkara, there the author seeks the completion of the text. Also, it has to hand over to the right people. Should continue, where there is no guarantee. That's why you can see, because of proper prayer, it is believed, how far it is true, we do not know, but it is believed that Vyasacharya himself had to write commentary on Patanjali Yoga Sutra. In fact, we will be taking in keeping with Vyasa Bhasya. So our commentary will be on keeping Vyasa Bhasyam. That is what my point I will be doing. Of course, in between I will be mixing few other commentaries. Because among all these things, I looked at few points from Bodhendra Saraswati ji. That book somehow I liked it very much. That was my favorite book. I don't know, it's missing nowadays. I don't know where is it. Because I had a very good collection of this Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So now I need to bring it back, okay? God knows where they have gone. We'll see. Coming to the point. That when the word Atha, not only it is Mangala Suchaka, also it becomes prayer to make sure things are going to move. And we also start with this thing so that let our understanding and teaching be healthy and complete. So that is what we mean here, the word Atha in short. Then only we cannot say that yoga is not a religious thing. In yoga there is no Ishvara, you understand? Without Ishvara Anugraha, there is no yoga at all. In fact, yoga becomes another philosophy than Sankhya. We are supposed to talk. Because of Ishvara. In Sankhya, there is no Ishvara. But present day, every yoga center is having Sankhya approach. Can you see this point? And to make it colorful, Buddha is the God. What a disaster. You understand? Buddha cannot, because Buddha becomes God means what? Buddha, first of all, Buddha is atheist. Buddhism, atheist. Atheist means the one who doesn't follow God. The one who doesn't believe in God is called atheist. It's wrong. The one who does not accept Veda as means of knowledge, pramana. We have to be very clear. So, they bring Buddha as God. So, this is called destruction they make. That's why any yoga center I go, if I see Buddha, that means definitely this yoga teacher is confused. There is no doubt in it. In fact, I understand how to talk that person, okay? This is what I am very clear in this regard. In fact, in many places I have tried my best to remove. And people get angry. Swamiji, you do not know. This Buddha attracts. Yes, Buddha attracts confused people. If you want to have confused people, please continue, okay? But don't continue with me, okay? However, coming to the point. So if this is the Atha, if this becomes approach for Atha, then only you can understand what is yoga. I am making it a very clear connection. Unless the word Atha is clarified in your mind, unless the meaning of the Atha hits you properly, then only you can understand yoga. Why? When we look at Brahma Sutra, in Brahma Sutra, the first sutra comes, Atha Brahma Jigyasa. Again, Atha comes. Okay? If we look at Dharma Sutra, Atha Dharmanushasana. By Jaimini, okay? By Vyasacharya himself writes, Atha Brahma Jigyasa. Also, Atha Dharmanushasana. So that means this Atha has got a very big significance. That's why when you look at especially Brahma Sutra, the word Atha, Adi Shankaracharya goes on and on with the word Atha. So in short, Adi Shankaracharya tries to convey, Atha means the preparedness of the person, the seeker. That's why only the person will be able to understand the word yoga or the essence of yoga when the Atha is being understood properly. Can you see this point? If I am not prepared, suppose I look at Atha means now. How I look at yoga text? academically or not? Let me complete it. Suppose I look at Atha means is auspiciousness. There is a prayer. Now I look at Yoga Sutra as a ritual, like many people we do it. For example, when we do in the temple, like after this Arati and all these things we do, Dravida Ganam Avadharaya, Dravida Gana Priya Dravida Ganam Avadharaya. Have you ever heard this sort of things? So in Arati time we'll do Akilandaswari, go whatever temple name and other things. Then finally say the person, the deity loves the Dravida Ganam. So Dravida, then they will start Trichitam Balam, then they will start singing. Have you not observed? Then they will say, very nicely, Stotra Priya Stotram Avadharaya. So sometimes we say Sutra Priya Sutram Avadharaya. So generally in Vedanta Ashram we'll use our Brahma Sutra. So in any other ashram they will be use any sutra, Yoga Sutra also they do it. Nothing wrong in it, will be accepted because Sutra Priya. So no problem. So there it becomes a religious approach. Can you see this point? And some people do chant regularly. Nothing wrong in it. All are religious approach which is required. Whereas when you look at Atha means the preparedness of the mind. Thereafter. Another word, okay? So what is thereafter? After the preparedness of the mind, only the teaching of yoga starts. Can you see this point? That's why the yoga word has got a different meaning altogether. So starting with union. In fact, in our childhood, we only knew when we did not know yoga, what is yoga, but definitely we knew this word yoga. 2 plus 2 yoga is called 4. Yoga, Viyoga, this is what we learned. Viyoga we did not learn this way in Odisha especially. Viyoga means when somebody dies, okay? That time we know loss is called Viyoga. Minus also is Viyoga, okay? But we were very familiar with, if somebody is dead, Viyoga, one fellow is Viyoga, loss. So in short, yoga means plus combination, addition, union. And once addition to becomes union, then you have to know huge connection. Jivatma Paramatma union. Soulmate union. Ragadvesha union. Body and mind union. One joint to another joint union. You understand? That's also one yoga, okay? Don't worry, okay? So one part of the body touches another part of the body. That is also union. That's why, look, this is called union. So one finger joins with another finger. This is called union yoga. Can you see this point? So this union made such a confusion. Of course, this was being promoted, this non-things, and also this come, do you know what they're called? This Chinese, what is half, what is that? This black half, white half.
Yin yang.
Okay, yin yang, thank you. So yin yang, okay, that also added some more fuel to it. So when we try to look at this union aspect, that's why a lot of confusion started. That's why here yoga means, he uses the word called samadhi. Just the word samadhi, nothing else. Now the question may arise, what is samadhi? Because unless you understand this very carefully, now you cannot really understand. Now, very nicely, we don't talk about samadhi, we hold it. That's why, please hold the word as it is. Now, before going to samadhi, so it says beautifully, if yoga means samadhi, now this is related to samadhi, anushasanam to be done. So Anushasanam means the teaching has to be done in keeping with. So Anu means in keeping with. So the teaching is starting in keeping with. Thereafter, the yoga is equal to samadhi. So that means the teaching of samadhi is starting in keeping with. In keeping with what? This Anusasanam. When Anusasanam, keeping with, we put it first, Shastram Adhikruta. So that means in keeping with the scriptures. As you know, no sutra literature can exist without Shastra. Like Dharma Sutra cannot exist without Karma Kanda, the ritualistic portion of Veda. Because if you do not know what is Karma Kanda, how to do ritual, what is the mantra and other things, how can you understand Dharma Sutra? It's not going to work. So also this, our Brahma Sutra cannot exist, cannot be interpreted. I am using the word very carefully, exist, cannot be interpreted, cannot be understood, exist in the mind, okay? Without Vedanta, without Upanishads. It is impossible. So also, Yoga Sutra cannot be studied, cannot be understood without Yoga Shastras, mainly Yoga Upanishads. Is it clear? So that's why one is supposed to study or must have some prior knowledge of Yoga Shastras and especially Yoga Upanishads. Unless and until person studies some Yoga Upanishads, to be very honest, Yoga Sutra cannot be understood. And also we say, Anushasanam in keeping with. Also we try to look at not only Shastra. How can Shastra be unfolded? There is a tradition. So that means Patanjali himself highlights, look, it is not me teaching, it is a tradition is unfolding. So whatever I am talking in keeping with Shastra, how the Shastra comes, being Karna Parampara, there is a teacher or not? Shastra is not a book. Remember this point. Very careful. Never think of the Shastra as a book. Because Shastra can be book in the case of Bible. Shastra can be a book. Like that's why they call scripture, okay? Scripture can be called as a Bible because there is a book. Or look at Quran is a book. Tripitaka is a book. Please be very careful. That's why I am very clear with reference to scripture and Shastra. Can you see this subtle difference? So, Shastra is not a book. It may be available in a book format. Remember this point. It may be available in a book format, but it is not a book. That's why when we say Shastra, automatically the teacher, the parampara comes along with it. Can you see this point? Whereas if we say scripture in English, that's why this Britishers, they converted this word Shastra to scripture. So when you say scripture without your knowledge, you convert it to a book. So when you convert to a book, you don't need the teacher. You don't need the teaching tradition. Then conveniently preaching tradition can continue. There is a tradition also of preaching, okay? Don't worry, okay? So that's why here also we need to look at how this yoga is being looked at. So only yoga will be looked at in a healthy way, samadhi, when there is anushasanam. This word anu comes. In keeping with Shastra. Or else we'll think samadhi called trance. One translation of samadhi called trance. You are in trance. When your mind is a blank. Especially when you have marijuana. What a state. And I'm not telling you jokes. Many people practice samadhi by having marijuana. It's a big trend going on. And maybe they can reach samadhi very fast also, possible, okay? Don't worry. After that, what happens, don't ask me. So, in short, when anushasanam is done, then only yoga as samadhi will be understood. Or else, the word samadhi will be misinterpreted, as it is being misinterpreted every time, everywhere. Now, question may arise. Why do you highlight about samadhi? Because I am interested in my mind. I am not interested in my samadhi and other things. This is the point. That's why you need to understand what is first mind, okay? Says, look, mind has got 5 states in general. We say 5 planes. Place of movement, area of movement. So what are they? The first one is called Kshiptam, Moodham. Second. Third one, Vikshiptam. Fourth one, Ekagram. And the 5th one called Niruddham. And of course, these 5 planes we will be seeing some other day. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.